There are a lot of unique designs going on there. Anna, I'll start with you. What do you think about the exteriors?
It's a contemporary house set in a very lush green landscaped area. It looks very peaceful, meditative, the whole form. The carporch has a very distinct roof. I think they've used GI sheet. What I feel, the color of the house is white, but is it or light blue? And it looks
bluish, I think.
Yeah. And they've gone for a light roof also. I wish there was a bit of contrast somewhere, like if they could introduce a little bit, a wee bit of cladding or a wee bit of color on the roof. That would have made it look a little more interesting. Nevertheless, it's very interesting. Then the elements, there are different elements like and all that together works together to give it a very different kind of house. But I feel the sides of the house are very plain. If you look at the entrance, it's not grand for this big of a house. It looks the entrance door especially, they could have done something with it. Then you see a lot of pergolas, a lot of water bodies. Everything together is adding to the ambience of the whole house. Play of forms, that's the most distinct thing that you see. You have different kinds of slopes here. It's not a predictable house from outside, so it's interesting.
Arun, what would you like to add?
It's a very interesting house. They've tried a lot of forms. There's a slightly sloped porch area. There's a different taller block on the back side. The setting is very interesting. They have a lot of landscape. I mean, they've done the landscape really well, and it's grown, well grown. So that means the house has been done for a while, and they are maintaining it well. So that's very interesting. And we have a water body on the back side. That's also another strong point of the house. Means there's a lot of open space all around. So the property is big. So that's a very important thing when you look at the house. Then like she was telling, the color, I think the bluish tint is kind of changing the whole look. I think white was much better. White would have been much stronger in the context. But nonetheless, I think it's looking decently done. And the back sides look a little more plain. Means they look a little less important compared to the front facade. But the ambience that is there on that side is really good. So I think a little more interesting space should have been brought in there, some place to come out or something.
Anna, you said that they have a lot of play of forms in the exterior. Has it been carried forward to the interiors?
Yes, these play of forms have created very beautiful volumes inside, and you just step into the house like you are impressed by how each space that they have. The living room is double height, and they've avoided ceiling fans. Instead of that, they have a line of hanging lights. It looks very impressive, and all the spaces are interconnected. And then they have the living room is one straight thing, and then the dining is a bit tucked away, and there's a small courtyard next to the dining. And the one interesting thing that I noticed was they've put a use to the courtyard. They've put the hand wash there, so that is something, even if it's in the sunlight, I mean it's a very well lit area, that was very interesting. And they've placed the air conditioning unit also out there. And the kitchen for this bigger house, I felt it was a bit too small. I mean, I'm sure there's no dearth of space in this house. They've just gone for a small galley kitchen, but it looks very modern and practical, but a little more space. They have a beautiful big space, but that you can't, it looks filled up. Yeah, that's it.
Arun, what is your opinion?
I think I like the interiors better than the exterior. On a very different note. Exteriors are very safe in the terms of use of color, like she was saying earlier. No different form of texture or even surface finish or any kind of that. For that, even the color has been kept to one null shade. So gives a total different view of the house. And you come into the interior, it becomes very tropical. The colors are very interesting. They have used a lot of colors. The floor looks very different. I have never seen a green floor. So that's a very different thing. It's glossy, but still it's a very different approach. Then the sofas has got a different style, and like what she was telling, wood is kind of on the lower side. It might be a choice, the personal choice of the client. But then even without having wood, it looks nice. It looks maintenance. I was actually searching for a bigger window. I needed something more big. The dining had a courtyard inside. That's about it. I think the house is totally different in the interiors than the exterior, and it's very refreshing inside.